Join us on Patreon and become part of our journey to uncover history's untold stories. Your support helps us create in-depth content, bring hidden narratives to life, and keep history alive for everyone.
There are stories so ancient, so veiled in the mists of time, that even today they spark curiosity and debate among scholars, theologians, and seekers of truth. When the paths of Africa's Bantu migrations intertwine with the legendary tale of the lost tribes of Israel, we enter a realm where oral traditions, genetic traces, linguistic mysteries, and ancient scripture dance in a tantalizing confluence of possibility. From the grasslands of Cameroon to the highlands of Ethiopia, from the riverbanks of the Congo to the southern tip of Africa, the whispers of a shared past echo softly, faint, yet profound. These echoes have traveled through time, preserved in tribal customs, ancient texts, and newly unearthed genetic revelations, compelling historians to rethink the complexity of pre-colonial African history and its possible biblical connections. The Bantu migrations remain one of the most significant demographic shifts in African history. Taking place roughly between 1000 BCE and 1700 CE, these waves of movement saw the spread of Bantu-speaking peoples from their ancestral homeland, believed to lie in the grasslands near modern-day Cameroon and southeastern Nigeria, through vast swathes of sub-Saharan Africa. Their migrations were not random. They were facilitated by the mastery of iron-smelting technologies, agricultural expertise, and a sophisticated understanding of environmental cycles. These mobile communities brought with them knowledge systems, oral traditions, and cosmologies that would shape the linguistic, cultural, and political landscapes of much of Africa. Yet, as their languages and genes spread across the continent, so too did legends, stories of ancient ancestors who once lived far to the northeast, in lands marked by temples, covenant, and exoduses. Among the most enduring of these tales is the belief that some African tribes may be descendants of the lost tribes of Israel, those 10 northern tribes of ancient Israel who, following the Assyrian conquest in the 8th century BCE, disappeared from the historical record. Scholars and religious thinkers alike have long speculated about their fate. Some suggest they assimilated into other Near Eastern cultures. Others propose they ventured eastward into Central Asia, but a growing body of oral history, combined with genetic and anthropological data, now points southward into Africa. Several Bantu-speaking tribes today, particularly among the Lemba of Southern Africa, the Baganda of Uganda, the Yoruba of Nigeria, and certain Congolese and Angolan lineages, carry ancestral memories of Semitic origins. The Lemba are perhaps the most well-known among them. This Southern African group, scattered across Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Mozambique, maintained dietary laws, circumcision rites, and ritual purity customs that mirror Mosaic law. They claim descent from Jewish ancestors who arrive on the African continent via a place they call Senna, often believed to be a reference to Yemen or ancient Judea. For centuries, their oral tradition preserved this connection, but in the late 20th and early 21st centuries, genetic studies added a powerful layer of evidence. Researchers, including tutor Parfit and geneticist Dr. Karl Skorecki, found that a significant number of Lemba men carry the Cohen modal haplotype, genetic markers common among the Jewish priestly caste, the Kohanim, particularly within the Buba clan, their oldest and most venerated lineage. How then do the Bantu migrations connect with this story? The puzzle deepens when one considers the timeline and routes. If remnants of the lost tribes traveled into Egypt and then further into the Sudanese and Ethiopian highlands during the centuries after the Assyrian exile, it is plausible they came into contact with early Bantu groups. Some might have intermarried, converted, or otherwise influenced the spiritual and ritual frameworks of emerging communities. Ethiopia, home to the Beta Israel, an ancient Jewish community whose roots also reach back millennia, was a known refuge for Israelites during times of crisis. The biblical connection between Ethiopia and Israel is not mere myth. It is embedded in religious texts, including the Hebrew Bible and the Kabra Nagast, which tells of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. From Ethiopia, any Israelite-descended groups might have moved southward, blending into the stream of Bantu-speaking peoples heading into East, Central, and Southern Africa. Linguistic echoes seem to persist. Some Bantu languages carry Semitic loanwords, and there are cultural motifs, such as the ark symbolism and sacred fire rituals, that curiously parallel Israelite temple traditions. While these could be explained by later Islamic or Christian influence, many such customs appear to predate formal colonial conversions. Even more intriguing are the parallels in religious cosmologies. Among some Bantu groups, there exists a powerful belief in a singular high god, often remote and supreme, named variably as Nyam, Nzambi, or Mulungu, concepts that closely resemble the ancient Hebrew understanding of Yahweh. The idea of covenant, of a chosen people tasked with upholding divine law, is also curiously prevalent in Bantu ethical systems. For instance, among the Kikuyu of Kenya and the Zulu of South Africa, there are oral traditions speaking of an exodus, divine punishment, and spiritual return, all deeply reminiscent of Israelite narrative arcs. Though mainstream academia often hesitates to accept direct links between Bantu tribes and the Israelites, due in part to the difficulties of confirming oral history with limited archaeological evidence, recent advancements in linguistics, genetic mapping, and comparative anthropology are reopening the debate. The story of the Igbo people of Nigeria, many of whom maintain Jewish customs and consider themselves descendants of Gad or Levi, offers another layer of intrigue. The Igbo have synagogues, Torah scrolls, and elders who trace their lineage back thousands of years. Though dismissed by some as a product of recent Christian influence or modern Zionism, the persistence and consistency of these traditions suggest deeper roots. As the Bantu migrations unfolded over centuries, reshaping Africa's demographic and cultural map, they may well have carried with them more than agriculture and metallurgy. They may have carried forgotten scrolls, ancient songs, fragments of covenantal memory, and echoes of Sinai. Whether through intermarriage, conversion, or ancestral descent, the Bantu-speaking world became a vessel in which parts of Israel's lost story may have found a new home. In the end, history is not always written in stone. Sometimes it is spoken around fires, encoded in names, embedded in rituals, and passed down in the blood. The intersection of Bantu migrations and the mystery of the lost tribes of Israel serves as a profound reminder that Africa's history is neither isolated nor insular. It is part of a larger human story, of exodus and exile, of movement and memory, of identity lost and rediscovered. As historians, anthropologists, and spiritual seekers continue to uncover the ancient layers of Africa's past, we may one day be able to say with greater certainty what has long been whispered in the winds of the savannah, that among the Bantu, a flame of Israel still burns.